Hey everybody, Doug from First Response Land again. I'm just putting together another video of what we've done over the last couple days. Obviously we're in leaf season, and if you follow us on social media, you are well aware of that. So for the next probably 6 weeks, it's going to be as much as we can, going out, clearing leaves, sucking them up, bringing them to the dump, and making everybody's yards look great. Now, something we didn't think about with leaves and how dry it's been, well, I guess we have thought about it, but we've never actually had this happen, is dry leaves, really hot equipment. What can go wrong? So we'll talk about that in a little bit. For now, go ahead and enjoy some of this footage of one of the bigger cleanups we've done this year, and you'll get to see some shots of the massive pile that it created once we get to the end. So obviously we can see the pile's getting bigger. The guys pushed out the entire backyard into the front yard while I was taking a trip to the dump. I got back there and the pile was by the gate. We started pushing it out to the front. Obviously, hindsight being 2020, this should have been a job where I had both trucks there. Where we brought both, that way we would have the leaf plow with us. It probably would have made this go it definitely would have made this go quicker. And that one's on me. I thought that there were going to be less leaves. I really did not expect the amount that we were going to be dealing with. So we had the 3 blowers. We had a 7500 Red Max, 8500 Red Max, and we also had a Steel 800. Had them all going. Probably all in all took an hour to an hour and a half by the time we got the pile from the back gate to the front yard. That's including the time that I was not there. I was at the dump. But it was a fun one. It definitely was a windy day, which didn't help us. You can see the leaves are all blowing towards the front of the dump trailer where the camera's mounted. So it was a constant fight, but we did get everything done. And next time we'll know to bring the leaf plow with us. So at this point we're starting to make a pretty good push on the pile. You can see I'm in the background. I'm clearing out the bush areas a little bit. The guys are pushing back towards the trailer. We finally got into a pretty good rhythm getting this stuff out there. We're going to have some problems in a little bit because the piles get so tall. But after the video ends is when I started sucking some of it up with the Leaf Vac, just to make some more room. The wind had died down a little bit here. It looks like, as you can see now, it's coming back again, but that did give us a good chance to start pushing, and it was just constant. The guys did a great job. It's fighting weather and wind. There was some wind that was coming up from the storms down south from all the rain that we got today, which is today's Friday. This was Thursday, yesterday, that we were doing this cleanup. But it was nice. Everything was dry while we were there, and now everything's soaking wet, so tomorrow's cleanup should be a lot of fun for us. Alright, so now we've got one of our earlier jobs from Thursday. We were out doing a curbside pickup. Again, this pile ended up being large, very large. Started the camera probably 5-10 minutes into the actual pickup itself. Seems like this year all of our curbside pickups were ending up needing to bring the blower out just to start moving the pile. We did on a pick up later in the day. We went a different route, and instead of making a pile, it was actually lined up along the road. So what we did there, and we'll try to get video of this next time, we actually just drove the truck forward as we were sucking it up, and then once we got as far as we could, we backed up again, pulled closer to the pile, and kept going that way, which worked really well. But especially with dry leaves like this, it really does work perfectly fine, where you've got one guy on the vacuum, one guy on a rake, and sometimes you do need to have that blower going there. Obviously in this situation the blower was helping and hurting at the same time again, because you can see the wind moving all over the place. One thing that's been a little bit fun for the last 3 or 4 days is the fact that I basically haven't really had much of a voice. I'm assuming between the leaves, grass, all the different allergies, the amount of leaf dust that's been blowing around and we've been breathing in, I probably Wednesday basically started losing my voice. Yesterday sounded very funny, and today it's finally starting to come back a little bit. So that's been one more battle with trying to keep up with everything, with phone calls, all those different things. But it's definitely been interesting. Haven't had that happen in a while, and now that it's coming back, hopefully it'll stay. So at this point we're finishing up this curbside, and you might notice there's a lot of leaves blowing around from the top of the screen. Well, what we realized is the leaves are very dry. They are filling up the box quickly. Now, the Leaf Vac does chop them up. It does pack them in pretty good, but we have one problem. With them being so dry, they want to keep coming up. So what that means is they're coming back out of the opening in the tailgate, which is where the Leaf Vac shoots them in. So you can see now we've got the blower over there. We've got a little bit left to suck up on this cleanup, and we're going to just keep blowing air into that opening to keep stuff from coming out. Some other things we've done lately, we've added a lighting system to our leaf machine, and that's just basically to keep us safe while we're out there at night. we want to be able to see. We want people to be able to see us, and now it's getting dark at 5 o'clock at night, which is a problem for us because we're generally still out there working till about 6. So these lights light up the leaf piles, they light up our area. Between the lights and our safety vests, any cars that are coming, they'll be able to see us, which is definitely a good thing. You know, you don't want anybody getting hit by a car while you're out sucking up leaves. So it's definitely something that'll be beneficial now that the sunlight is going away much earlier in the day. So now to the real reason we're all here. So we talked earlier about leaves coming back out of the box. For the last couple of years, we really haven't dealt a lot with dry leaves. Everything's been soaking wet. This year the leaves, they all came down really fast. We had a couple windstorms, a couple rainstorms, took most of the leaves out of the trees, and they haven't sat for very long. Usually we're not as far into our cleanup list and our curbside list as we are right now, and a lot of times the leaves just sit. They sit on the yard, they sit in mulch beds, they sit on the curb, and by the time we get to them they're pretty well soaked. The Leaf Vac can handle that. It's made to suck up this stuff pretty well. It'll suck mulch up, it'll suck rocks, whatever goes through it. Rocks aren't really good for it, but it will do it. With the dry leaves, it does very well. It chops them up, turns them into basically dust. It'll pack them in real tight. But once you get up to around the opening in the trailer, which we put the 18-inch extension on the chute for the Leaf Vac last year, and that's done a great job of letting us fill the trailer higher. But once you get around the bottom of that opening, you start having so much airflow that the trailer won't pack higher than that, and you'll start getting leaves and, more importantly, the dust coming back out. Now, that creates several problems. One, for the people who are out there sucking up the leaves, it just makes a mess. You've got dust blowing all over you, in your eyes. The bigger of the problems is with the Leaf Vac itself. So with all that going around, you have a machine that's got 18 horsepower, it's running very warm, and it's got an exposed exhaust. With an exposed exhaust, you now have dust and leaves landing on it. All over it. You've got them on top of the gas tank, all over the machine itself. Now, heat plus dry leaves, what does that do? That causes the leaves to catch on fire. So, this past week, I believe it was last Saturday, that was definitely a fun day. All of a sudden, I'm working the vacuum and I notice that we're getting buildup on it because the box is filling up. So I'm in the process of calling one of the guys over to blow the debris off of the vacuum, off the fuel tank, off the exhaust, all those areas, and to start blowing air into the hole on the vacuum like you saw in one of the earlier parts of this video. As I'm motioning for him to come over to do that, all of a sudden we have a 3-foot flame shooting off the side of the vacuum. Now obviously that's something that you never expect to see, which in reality we did. That's why we would have the guy over there blowing it. We just didn't get there quick enough. So really quickly went over, shut the machine down, turned the gas off to it, let everything sit for a couple minutes, and probably took 15 or 20 seconds for the flame itself to actually go out once it burned off all of the dust. So we were lucky with that. It could have been a lot worse. Obviously, most of the trailer is built out of woods for leaf season, and you have, at that point we probably had 15 yards of chopped up leaves. So it could have gone very badly. We now have fire extinguishers. Well, there was a fire extinguisher out with the truck that day, but that's something you really need to think about. Now with the rain that we're getting in North Jersey today, it won't be as much of a problem going forward, but there's a couple of things that we're going to do to prevent that now. Now everybody knows that if you see dust coming back out, somebody needs to be there with a blower to make sure they're keeping everything clean. and keeping all the dust inside. And each truck will have a fire extinguisher readily accessible. There's going to be one mounted to the Leaf Vac itself on probably the curb side. That way it's away from traffic, away from us trying to work. And we're also going to be changing up the chute a little bit, not the chute of the machine itself, but we're going to be closing off the hole that everything goes into, putting a different style tube. That way, once things go into the leaf box, they can't come back out. So like I said, it's been a very interesting leaf season so far this year. It's been different than any of the other ones we've dealt with, just on the dryness and the speed that the leaves have come down. We've had our issues. I went to the dump one day, forgot the key to the box to dump the dump trailer, which is pretty necessary. Same day, we also ran over the snout to the Leaf Vac with the dump trailer while we were dumping. Had the fire with the Leaf Vac, and just seems like things have been happening. So we're going to be a lot more careful. We're going to pay a little bit more attention to make sure we don't continue to have little issues like that can turn into big ones. And we're looking forward to continuing to make big piles, sucking them up, bringing them to the dump, and seeing how the rest of the year goes. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It'll help us know that people are watching and that you're enjoying the content. So until the next one, stay safe.